Star Citizen is a game with several different planets you can start on. And when you actually get into the game, it actually matters where you start. And the goal for today is to take a nice tour. It's going to be a pretty relaxed tour, so get comfortable, sit back. And we're going to be checking out every starting location in Star Citizen, discovering which one is the best. I'm more trying to just unearth the various benefits and consequences of starting at either. What I've got here, my very advanced note-taking app, a couple different categories that we can use to criteria how good these starting locations are. First is shops and services. So this is things like your guns, your armor. Can you buy ships? Do you get life insurance? Exit time is, like how long does it take for you to get out of the atmosphere? This was a problem with Orison for a while. Today we're going to find out if it's a problem still. Location. Hurston's at the center of the system, but ArcCorp is closest to the jump point. Planet and moon features. Obviously, some of these planets don't even have a planet surface, so you get less out of being there, but maybe you like the location more. And then vibe. Vibe is how do you feel? Some people want to live on Hurston. I don't know why, but it's a choice people make. All right, let's go. Starting at ArcCorp, Area 18. We are here at the spaceport of ArcCorp, the ArcCorp spaceport, the ArcSport, the Portwork, Portwork. Okay, so there's not really much to say about these places being different, but what I do like about this one, and I don't believe this is true at the others, is that there's a coffee spot here. Funny story, this was supposed to be the test case for the bartender behavior, which for those of you who have been around since the bartender days, holy shit. there was a lot of hubbub about bartender over the course of the years, and oops, I just bought a burrito. Oh, now I'm talking to him. that was a terrible okay, well, that's how the game works. So these people were kind of a big part of the development for a while and then just sort of gotten forgotten, but this is where they ended up. So you have this really nice ability to get some drinks and some food. Can you stop talking to me? There's your bartender tech. Good lord. And you can get some food and drink from these guys while you're out here at the spaceport, which is pretty nice because sometimes I die from that. Okay, so to start off, that's what you get out of ArcCorp. People are friendly enough to say hi as they walk past. Tell me you get that at Hurston, huh? Continuing on through the spaceport, there's really not much to say other than, like, if you like public transportation and flying trains, you can only get that here. Hey, that was good timing. And so here's what the trip back to the city looks like. Hey. Was that, see, now I don't even know if that was an NPC or a player. Everybody just says hey in ArcCorp. Every city should have a map like this. If you are starting Star Citizen, do not ignore the things that are laid throughout the map. There are some games that do this, but it's not super common, so it might be easy to miss, but there are signs, indicators, and descriptors of all the different parts of these cities, as well as maps that'll tell you how to get around them. If that's not enough, obviously you also have the mini-map. You could just look at where the hospital is on here, and you could look at where you are and say, okay, we got to run there, and then we got to go up there, and then through there. Now, one of the things people love about ArcCorp, you can make this decision for yourself as we get through this whole tour, is that it actually has a lot of, man, these people are just friendly. It has a lot of things in a small vicinity. So you've got the hospital right here, which is cool. But a short run over here, a short run through this hallway, relatively short run. It's like a medium run. You get to this plaza, and you got your weapon shop. You can get your FPS weapons. You can actually get some armor. You can get a backpack. You can get a lot of goods right here. Cubby Blast is actually a really good supplier. On top of that, This is also a clothing store, which is really nice. It's just in close proximity to the weapon store, and then your apartments are actually right over there. So if you... Oh, no, sorry. Over there. So if you live here, that's where you're coming out of. And you've got all your stuff where you can suit up right here, plus some food. But if you run back over this way, it's a little back entrance that's not super well known. You can turn right around, and there's more food over here. Granted, they don't serve pizza, which I think is insane. Star Citizen, what are you doing? But there is food somewhere over here, is there not? I think it's down here.
Hey there.
Hey there. There we go. More food and drink. So, ArcCorp has a lot of stuff that's pretty easy to get to quickly. And I do want to mention that while we're talking about the benefits of a starting location in Star Citizen, you don't actually need to worry that much about it. Because you're probably going to be starting from a space station or your spaceship for the most part after this anyways. But this is one of the big ones also, here. Now, Astro Armada becomes less valuable because Hurston won the resource rush, so they have ship discounts. But this place still will allow you to buy ships. You can buy most any ship in Star Citizen somewhere in the game. You just gotta earn enough credits for it. And to be quite honest, it's not that hard. You can check out any of the ships here. You can buy them. There's also ship rentals in ArcCorp. Those aren't here, but we will check that out. Downstairs from the ship shop, short little run, is potentially more food. ArcCorp, knowing what's important. Over there on the bridge, more food. Very good. You got a components store over here. And I don't actually know what the component selection is at Dumpers Depot, but you got couches and chairs. You can't do much worse than that. Better? You can't do much better than that, sorry. But yeah, for you guys who are miners, I do think there are a couple things that are not as easy to get at like the space stations that you can get here. You can obviously get all your pods, your ore stuff, your modules, mining lasers, components. Some components, not a lot. You're still going to get more better components at Orison. ArcCorp also has lunch tables for all the thousands of people that live in 1 square kilometer of where we are right now. Here's your lunch spot. Oh god, now I'm kind of getting lost here. Again, you have signs everywhere that's kind of trying to tell you where to go for things. But you also have like little back alleys and places where you can tell they've left space just in case they want to add stuff later. I do think ArcCorp will get some additions in the next few years, but I don't think it's like in the immediate future. Got another back alley here. Obviously a spot where you can add things later.
Half my age and acts like he knows everything. Let's see how much he knows when he gets a bullet through the eye.
Oh, geez, dude.
Things just boggle the mind.
How's it going?
Okay. ArcCorp conversations. Obviously, you got more food. What do you know? More food.
Uh-huh.
And then this bar, which I was really hoping was going to be a little bit more useful by now. I think this is kind of like, this is a heavy freelancer thing, right? I never got to play freelancer, but from what I can understand, there were a lot of bars, and the bars where you would go would be where you would get like your missions and your gossip and like your objectives from the bartender. So I do think that's what they're going for here. I do think that this will be an important location, but as of right now, bars don't really make much of a difference. So like, you know, if you like a bar, it's there, but it's not going to help you too much. And then you got another back alley over here. Not much to do. Obvious mission giver spot. Here you have the hospital as well.
How's it going?
Good.
Things are getting pretty desperate.
Oh, it wasn't for me. Sorry. Just interrupting. It's not a big deal. Everybody has a hospital, but this one again is pretty centrally located, which is nice. On the other side of this plaza. Hi. I think this is another back alley that doesn't really lead to anything. Just another space that can be used at some point. Ta-da. Nice for shooting a movie or two. Next door to that, we've got the trade department. This is where you would go when you want to sell or buy commodities and get them sent to your ship. You can get like your minerals here. You send them to your ship. buy your processed food. This is for your cargo haulers, you know, buyers and sellers. Every city has one, but again, this one is kind of centrally located in this plaza, which is nice. ArcCorp is the kind of place where you don't have to go to different locations. You're gonna see that's one big thing that kind of hurts at Microtech. Actually, it hurts everywhere. Every city is like that except for ArcCorp. Maybe ArcCorp will be changed to be like that, who knows. There's a lot more NPCs around nowadays, huh? You remember when there were like 2 people in this room? Sheesh. And then you've got this little secret spot, which is not a common area. But this is actually, you can come up here to center mass, and you've got pretty nice choices for ship weapons up here. So great ship weapon choices. It's not a very known store, so you can find some stuff here that maybe isn't as common. And again, it's not very far away from everything else. I do believe some of these weapons, right? These just got a redesign. Yeah. It's also some FPS weapons in here. So a solid place to come to get some of your stuff. Again, it's just nice to have good weapon stores right there in your city. We'll go upstairs first. Man, this is a tall tower. All right. Every city seems to have its thing. I don't believe this was up here before this year, so this is a new addition here at Area 18. I love that they have the Wind soundtrack on. This would be insane to actually get to see, though. Like, this would definitely be a tourist attraction. Basically the tallest building on the planet. And you can just see... You can see like 8 cities from up here. This is just a little extra thing. Maybe there will be a mission up here or a mission giver or somebody to come meet or something. But as of right now, nothing functional up here. So coming down the bottom of the elevator, I think that's just about everything. We'll make one little final stop by T-Ship Pacheco, mission giver of the location, and then we're on to the next one. So long hallway, and then you get to the back of it, and you come to this real edgy hangout spot where it looks like they're about to shoot a little music video. Oh no. Oh, she's standing. You've changed. She doesn't even want to look at us anymore.
I've got better places to be.
Oh. Clearly. Nobody even back here anymore. She used to have a posse. Now she's just unguarded. So she's one of the old mission givers, and as you can see, that system is broken. I think you can still get missions from her, but you need certain rep and patience, which I don't have. But that is here, and at some point, she'll probably lead to some storyline for ArcCorp and her faction. They've made each location extremely distinct, which is nice, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're all equally useful to everyone. We are going to test how long it takes to get from landed in the hangars to up at the space station, because that is something that will annoy a lot of people. So putting them to landing gear, going into quantum, and we're gonna fly.
Quantum travel engaged. Quantum travel
30 seconds, maybe. Probably not even that. I'm just saying that because, like, I could already jump by the time I got the navigation set up, and the navigation was probably able to be triggered even earlier. So I'm going to say ArcCorp 30 to 40 seconds just to get the ability to get up to the space station, and then from there you can jump out to wherever you want to go. The other thing to consider about all of the planets, really, ArcCorp not withstanding, is like, what does the planet surface look like? You're going to see from the other planets that you can just kind of land on them, but ArcCorp, you're screwed. You got to go to the moons, and you've only got 2, Lyria and Walla. Now, Lyria is pretty good for mining, and Walla has a really low atmosphere, so it's easy to low fly with and stuff, but these are not the most interesting moons in the game. So good to remember that if you are going to be at ArcCorp, you are going to have less land vehicle opportunities and just general less land gameplay. Another thing to remember is that the space station doesn't have a weapon shop, which can get very annoying. Keep that in mind. Makes more sense for Hurston, but for some reason it's ArcCorp that does that. Let's give ArcCorp its scores. Starting with shops and services. I'm going to say shops and services for ArcCorp is like a 8 for me because they don't have everything available to them, but they're really easy to get to. And they do have the ship shop, which is not universal. Exit time, super short. I think about gold standard. I'll give it a 9. Location wise, it's really close to the jump point. So you can easily get over to Pyro. You can also easily get to Hurston, which is a pretty common stop off point. I'm not too mad about the location, even though it is the 3rd furthest out from the star. It doesn't feel that distant. It feels less distant from everything than Crusader does. I'm going to give it like a 6.5, maybe a 7. Planet and moon features is not great. Not going to lie. It doesn't have really any land to use, at least right now. It doesn't have really that many moons. I don't like its moons. I love Hurston's moons the most. So when it comes to planet and moon features, I gotta say that's like a 4, probably even a 3. Vibe-wise though, it's up there. I love the vibe. I love an Ecumenopolis. I like the city. It's like a solid 8 right now, a 7 and 8. So that is ArcCorp. Hurston's next. Probably should put down my landing gear. Here we have the Lorville starport. Now, to be quite honest, I like the design more than ArcCorp. These lights up here give me Deus Ex vibes, and like, if you know me, easy way to my heart. We got ship rentals over here. Easy to find, easy to get access to. Great way to start out the game. You can come in here and you can get a freaking money-making ship for a couple of missions worth of credits. And you get a ship shop over here, new deal, first one we ever had. You can actually like tour the big ships here, which is a really cool touch. Lorville has a ton of personality. Here's some. You can shop for ships at these screens. These guys are hogging it. So plenty of ships to buy here as well, just like at ArcCorp. And here, you're now getting the 5% discount because Hurston was the winner of the resource rush. Don't worry about the bodies on the floor. That's just something you need to accept in Lorville. Like I said, it's a weird place. As you can see, they were putting other people's heads on other people's oh crap, I don't want to loot these people. Other people's heads on other people's bodies, and it didn't go well. So we just don't talk about that. Let's continue on to the city. Our first stop is going to be at the business district. This is what I was talking about with cities that need you to go to multiple places to get everything. ArcCorp is not necessarily like that, but some people like this. It is cool riding the train in Lorville. Like, you get a nice view of the city. You really do feel like you're in just an impressive city. Seeing the big building over there looming over the whole city is like, they did a good job with Lorville. That's where we're headed. It's pretty cool riding the train and seeing player spaceships flying into land.
Hello.
Again, I love the Deus Ex mixed with Blade Runner vibes of this place. Even their guys have cool armor. Not very intimidating though. What's up, punk? Yeah, stupid mouth. So this is where you would go for the commodity trading. You remember we went to that in ArcCorp. At Area 18, it was in that central platform plaza. But over here, you got to take the train over to the central business district and then make a run out to this room, over to these terminals. Commodities are all here, but this is as far as you have to go to get it, so it's a little bit different from Area 18 setup. Hurston also, though, has its own touches of lore and information. You can come through here. You can check out the actual timeline of this company. So like I said, it's a really old company. 2438 is 500 years ago in the lore. So they've been around. They've been around the block. And I believe the Messer regime came to power... here. Around 2600. The Second Tavaran War underway, Hurston engineers would introduce cascade laser technology. So around the Second Tavaran War is when the big monarchy started to happen in humanity by the Messers. And it looks like Hurston takes real good care to not mention any of that in their timeline. No deals with the Messers. We weren't doing that at all. No. So now here we are. It's the new world. As you can tell, they're still pretty evil people, but they get by. And you can come over here and actually buy from their weapon shop, if you would like. Some ship weapons. Some big ship weapons. This is the best place to go to, like, get a sense of how big the ship weapons in Star Citizen are. Yeah, so this is a size 6 gun. Not even the biggest we have. Okay, back to the actual center of the city. Dude, look at this, man. This is such a beautiful... This is such beautiful architecture. Why is it raining on me? Why is my face wet? It is cool that it can rain in the cities. I like that. I would love to get some rain in ArcCorp, but maybe not when I'm underneath the roof. That's the Hurstons pissing on the populace. Right. All right, back through the other side of the city we go, away from the business district and on to where the peasants live. It's actually funny, we are very privileged people to be flying spaceships in the Star Citizen universe. Unless you fly Drake, then you're just getting by. Yo, I didn't even realize that the old political posters were getting damaged and degraded over time. That's a really nice touch. These are from the last election, which was in, I think we did it in 2020. So over the years, they've actually started to get ripped up. This is the first time I've ever realized that. To be quite honest, I think I like the actual vibes of Lorville more than Area 18. They did a really good job with the city. This is the first city that came into the game. Like, this is the oldest work on a city interior. And I still think it holds up the best. Very good job. It feels oppressive. It feels depressing. So we didn't start from the apartments. We started from a weird location, but I'll still give you the run through here. We've got some food down here. It's nice. Drinking food. Easy access. We got a shop here where you can actually get armor and clothing at the same time, so you don't have to go to two different ones, but it is not necessarily right next to everything. You also got your chair access if you need that. Couches and chairs and ship modules and mining lasers. Basically everything is included in this one store. You even got some weapons here, or at least a couple weapons, mostly some ammo. So that's actually quite nice that almost everything is here in the same store. Makes it easy for you to just come and get the stuff you need. When you come over here and you've got a bar, not much to do in this bar, but as you know, we noted with Area 18, bars are life. Bars are important. And this one's also got a mission giver. You can't, I don't know if you can actually meet with him in person, but this is the first mission giver. Hello, Miles. But ultimately, it's a bar. A lot of activity in here, lots of talking. This is the most talkative Star Citizen's ever been.
Everything going all right? I had the best hand of trigger I've ever had last week.
Pretty crazy bar sometimes. Jesus.
One car after another.
So yeah, you know, every city's got one. I do think they're going to utilize these at some point. But not right now. Dude, people getting messed up in here. Woohoo! This is the back entrance, so this goes right back to where we were before. That's the train station over there. Stores are down the stairs back behind there. You run on over this way, and you've actually got another mission giver. So this is the big thing with Lorville is they've They loaded this city with quite a bit of stuff just because it was the first one and they were all enthusiastic. But if you come in here, this guy, Clovis Darnley, usually he's going to be a pretty heavy salvaging mission giver. He'll probably be one of the first places you go as a salvager in the future. Doesn't talk right now because it's their whole mission giver system seems to be broken. The hospital's over there across the plaza, which again on its own is just, it's made to feel like you can't really tell what's going on below, but you also can't see what's going on above you, you know? The buildings block out the sun so much that it feels like it's almost always evening. And it feels like you're in the midsections rather than up on the surface of the planet. Which is honestly, that's kind of how Area 18 feels.
Hey. Hey there.
Hospital's pretty cool here. I think it has the best design of any hospital in the game.
Please inform your manager immediately before taking medical.
It fits the vibe of Hurston and Lorville so well. Just a great designed space. I mean, maybe not in terms of functionality, but the vibes, yeah. So here's another one of those maps. As you got one in Lorville as well. Every city has one. Main Central Plaza. There used to be a searchlight on the top of this tower. That would be going regularly, but I don't see it now. So now to connect all these locations for you. Whoa, that's weird.
Hey there.
Running over here, you got the admin office. This is where you can drop off some stuff if you need to. But running over here, coming down this way.
Hey.
There's the plaza. Clovis Darnley down that way. The bar right there. Hospital up there. You keep on going this way. The train station where we arrived right there. That store we went to. And the back of the bar here. Oh. And then there's the Undercity, actually. The Undercity is not very commonly explored because there's not much reason to go down here. But I do believe, just like with Area 18, this will be a place where you can come to get some contracts, and maybe they'll put some more instance locations down here that you can go to explore and get some more gameplay. Clearly some construction going on.
Everything good?
This central location. Didn't used to have people down here. Now there's people actually working down here, which is kind of cool.
Hey there.
I hear Admiral Bishop eats a bowl every morning too, if you can believe it. No wonder.
Is that Jared?
Good for you.
Oh, God. See, people literally wear their bags on their faces in this city because it's so messed up. Little splash of Undercity there. Back up here into the main plaza. And coming down the other side of it, you will see where our apartments are. The apartments are right over there. Holy crap, with the rain, there's the sewage getting dumped out of the pipe onto the city below. I was not lying. Dude, with the rain, this is crazy. We just have a video of this. The music with the rain. This is wild. Damn, this is gonna look crazy with global illumination. So vibes-wise, I think Lorville might already be pulling ahead here. But this is about the entirety of the Lorville tour. Lorville, shops and services. Pretty freaking good. Not to mention they've got that discount now from the resource drive. You can get everything you need here. Not as many components as the other places, but it's all being in the same store is pretty nice. The food isn't great. There's actually not a lot of access to food around the city, but everything else is pretty good. I think I'd give it an 8 as well. Exit time, we need to get that again. Location-wise, it is amazing. I'm going to give it a 9. It's in the center of the system. It's not far from the ArcCorp jump. It's not really far from anything. Planet and moon features. Hurston is covered in multiple biomes, plenty of space to explore, exit locations from the city. It's very good when it comes to getting out and using the planet's features. And it's got 4 moons. It's got Magda, Ariel, Aberdeen, and Ida. It's got a prison, which is a unique feature on the moons. Plenty of outposts. It's just all around. I think it's a 10 when it comes to planet and moon features. I don't think there's anything about it that's not good in terms of planet and moon features. And then the vibe's a 10, obviously, as well. Hurston's very high ranking. It's funny that I don't call it my favorite place. Let's see how the exit time is. So that was about 55 seconds. So a little bit lower, actually, to get out. I'm going to put that at a 7. Welcome to Microtech. This is the best planet in the game. Well, yeah, in the game. The city on ice. You got a frozen sea next to it with the spaceport across the way there. You can see on the right. I'm going to take the low approach because it is a really, really nice approach. It looks like the sun's coming down too. This big building here in the center is actually the apartment complex. And if you are crazy enough, you can fly through it. And the people on the inside who are living there can see you fly through it. This might be a stupid idea. Let's see how it goes. Oh, God. I know the ship fits through there, but it really didn't look like it was going to. And if you look off to the side, those domes down there on the floor are actually the retail shop centers where we will be here shortly. But in order to understand the construction of Microtech, we need to start from the starport. New Babbage was the first high-tech city in the game. There are different archetypes based on the times that, well, the companies that build the cities, but also the times that the cities grew and developed. Newer cities are high-tech, and so you'll notice immediately that this hangar looks a lot different. The archetype and just the way that things are designed are going to look a little nicer in Microtech than they are in the other cities. And that just adds to the vibe. That's part of what this place is about. The company of Microtech is like what you would think of as Apple in the future, if Apple owned a planet. It is a high-tech company. They make computer software and devices. They specifically used this planet, which struggled with its terraforming process and became overly cold, because it helps to cool down their servers and things. It's a unique setting, and it's a pretty cool setup, and I think it adds into the lore and feeling of being here a bit. But yeah, definitely different architecture, definitely a different kind of vibe here. And they've got their own map, just like every city. And there's the city. Over here, you've got ship shops. Actually, rentals, sorry. You can come over here and rent ships just like from the other cities, because you have the lovely biomes and amazing planetary features of Microtech. You have an entire separate section here to call out your vehicles. You also have this over at Lorville, but in Lorville you have to take a train out to the exterior exits, so it's a little bit easier to do from Microtech. As with the other cities, you do have to go through customs and public transit to get to the other locations. Any ships flying in? You see the space station up there. So, Microtech's a little hipster. Funny, not so known fact. This place is actually the drug center of the system. You wouldn't think it, but the tech hipsters here go through a lot of drugs. It's why they have the biggest nightclub in the whole star system. And the whole place in general is just like focused on leisure and feeling nice. You'll actually see NPCs running track around this place to keep fit. It's really funny. Got a diner over here. Available food for you. Very readily available.
Hey there.
You got a hologram here. I can answer your questions. There's actually also a hologram at ArcCorp, but the new Babbage one is a little bit better. We actually know the hologram. Anna, also a streamer who does some Star Citizen stuff, did all the voice work for this character. She's on the Launch Sequence podcast. If you ever want to check that out, she has joined us to talk about her time working at Star Citizen and doing her voice work for them. More smoothies over here, more food, plenty of food. And then even more food down over there. Continuing on, just a fun designed space. New Babbage. This is just a fun designed space. I think the coolest, the most atmospheric part of all of this is that the planet is so cold that they had to build the city in these domes, which really makes it feel different from the other cities. You know, you're always inside, and you get this really obvious disconnect from outside because the conditions are just horrible. We do have ground exits, though, that get you out onto the surface of Microtech from here. So you have two ways to get out to the Microtech surface, not just one. Here's that giant nightclub I mentioned. Usually it's lit up and it's got lasers in the sky and stuff, but maybe that doesn't happen until it's actually nighttime. One of these guys here is Eddie Parr, who's supposed to be a mission giver at some point. And for the most part, this is just like a nice atmospheric area. I'm guessing there will be reasons to come back here to talk to people, maybe to fulfill a mission. Who knows? But a lot of this is just unused space, just a gigantic nightclub. Bunch of drugs going through here. You know how it is. Food. Dude, this is a great way to set up a burger shop. I'd eat so many ready-made burgers if it was right outside the nightclub like this. Are you crazy? That shouldn't even be legal. Nice area. This is like a nice sitting space. I do think actually, if you're into role-playing and you want to find a place for like some good photo shoots of your character, this is actually pretty cool lighting, nice background. It's a cool area. I like the vibes here. I wouldn't say they're as hard-hitting as Lorville, but in the opposite direction, it really does feel like a clean and secure area.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, hey. So this is the other side of New Babbage, the Commons. Another nice room. Plenty of shops around the exterior. And also spaces you can tell are going to be used for other things. Like they've got full-on offices around here that are labeled. I'll show you in a minute. Here is a little shop where you can get some good stuff, some components, mining stuff, gadgets, a little bit of armor too, actually. Weapon shop here, ship weapons, center mass, the same store that was over on Area 18. So you're getting kind of the same selection, I believe. And scroll through and find what you need. There are also FPS weapons. So you got ship weapons, FPS weapons, industrial parts, protection services. This might be a bounty hunting office, possibly later when that gameplay comes in. You got these named suites around the side. Like I said, the Euterpe office suite, probably used for meetings and contracts. Some little side spaces. There's a lot of space in New Babbage because it is one of the newer landing zones. So it's built with a lot more expansion in mind. Trading division is back here. It's where you go to get your commodities, get your minerals, buy and sell. FTL, this is for couriers, where you'll come to do courier missions at some point. Hello.
Hey.
And you've got Omega Component Shop. So you're also going to be able to get ship components and upgrades for whatever it is you're flying. Might not be all of them, might not be the best of them, but you do at least have the shop here. So lots of choices here at Microtech in terms of stores. In the very center of this space is the most Apple thing you will find. That kind of solidifies this as the Apple of Star Citizen. And that is this, essentially a recreation of the New York 5th Avenue Apple Store. For those who have been there, this staircase is literally the same exact kind of design. And like, you know, you can just see it. Very much hits the vibe though. Like they do a great job of selling this as a high-tech space that is, I guess it's very 21st century high-tech. Like this is what we think of as showcasing tech, but it gets the point across. You can actually come in here and buy different models of Mobiglass, so you can change the color of yours if you'd like. In this room, you've also got sim pods, which are supposed to be where we go to play Arena Commander at some point. And down here, you got a couple other things like blades, avionics, just the other things that Microtech makes. Their main thing is the Mobiglass, but they also do some other stuff. Now, that actually covers most of New Babbage. As you can see, it is kind of spread out, especially compared to somewhere like Area 18. But it does have all the stuff that you need. As you can see, we specifically took a train to this location, but we will have to take another train to the apartments. So it's not like Lorville, where you can wake up from your apartment, go to the store, and then take a train to the starport. You gotta wake up from your apartment, take a train to the stores, and then take a train to the starport. Not that big of a difference, especially because most people won't be starting here every time, but it is something to consider. So here is the other part of New Babbage. There are 3 main locations: the Spaceport, the Commons, and Aspire Grand. Aspire Grand has the apartments in it. This is the building that we flew through earlier, if you recognize it. You come out from there. You do actually have a convenience store over here. So you have one extra shop where you can get some stuff just from spawning, and that includes weapons, multi-tool, med pens, the essentials. So you don't actually need to stop at the Commons. You could get some of the stuff from this convenience store, which does make it a little bit easier. Here's the hospital too. It's connected to the apartments. Easy run over to the hospital, which is nice. All right, final test for Microtech here. How quickly can we get out to the station? Hit it. All right, that was about 65 seconds. So it's getting longer. ArcCorp was shortest, Hurston second, and this one more so. I'm not saying these aren't super scientific. They might all be the same, and I'm just like struggling to fly at the same speed, but enough to score it on. The shops and services in Microtech are pretty good. I'd say it's pretty solid, honestly. I'd put it at an 8 as well. Not being able to buy ships is painful, but they do a really good job of giving you everything that you need. Exit time, that was about 65 seconds. Definitely slower than the other ones. I'm gonna give that one a 6. Location-wise, Microtech's pretty far from almost everything else. This is actually, I think, the biggest downside to starting at Microtech if you like to be around places. It's like, you're way out here on the far side of the system from the Pyro Gateway. You're even pretty far from the Terra Gateway compared to ArcCorp and Hurston. And you're far from the other planets. Not many space stations around you. It's just, it's a relatively remote location. So I would say, wait, why is location so low on ArcCorp? I feel like this would be higher there. I would give Microtech a 6 on location. Planets and moon features. Microtech, as we said, has some of the most biomes in the whole game. Very diverse, pretty solid temperature and climate. A lot of different like animals and stuff forming here. You've got 3 different moons. I think one of them is actually breathable for some amount of time. So that's beneficial. You have ground access on Microtech, so ground vehicles are very realistic. Ghost Hollow is there, even though it's broken right now. It is a very specific place that you can go for entertainment. I would say that the planetary features and moons as like a good 9. I don't have a reason not to give it a 10. And then vibe-wise, I like I like Microtech's vibes. I don't think they do as well as Hurston, but I think they do better than ArcCorp, so I'm gonna lay it with a 9 on the vibes. And to Orison we go. It's very dark because there's no ground. Nothing for the lights to bounce off of. But you do get a nice little beacon flashing there that shows you where the spaceport is, so that should take us right in. And you can visit all these different parts of the city. Like, you can fly down to these little floating islands. So you can, like, come down to these little city spots. You can throw down your landing gear. And you can land out here. So even comparatively to ArcCorp, Orison is the kind of place that you would also say, hey, you know, there's no planetary content here. But you do have a ton of these islands scattered throughout the city. And also there's some across the whole world where they do plant some buildings and just stuff to explore. It's not a lot of content, but it is better than what ArcCorp offers, which is just some rooftops across the planet. This place is also pretty unique because you can actually dock ships. So this is the current only landing zone up until Nyx gets added with Levski. This is the only landing zone where you can actually dock with large ships like the Hull C. Here is the spaceport where you're going to get your ship. It's got a nice fancy feeling just like Microtech, but it definitely feels much more touristic, much more made for visitors. And you'll get that vibe as you go throughout Orison. That's sort of what they're going for. They're like, hey, this is somewhere to come to do your vacationing. You got your starting location. Remember, we're still at the spaceport here, so it's not, this isn't the actual city yet. Bye-bye. But you can get some stuff here. There is food available at the spaceport. So again, a big up compared to some of the other locations. Ship rentals, also at the spaceport. Less though, definitely less available to rent here. And we get to the center for public transportation. ArcCorp, you got a flying train. Microtech, you got a normal train. Lorville, you've also got a normal train. Out here, you're gonna have yourself a flying taxi car thing. So we will ride to the central area. There are 3 platforms here, or it's kind of like Microtech, where the things are a little bit more separated than somewhere, say, like ArcCorp. First, we will make our way to the main city, and then from there, we will take a trip over to a little more of an industrial area with some shops and stuff. Most of the stuff is located here. Honestly, I think this is the nicest area. It feels really nice here. It actually feels nicer than Microtech because of the natural materials, the trees, the lighting. The lighting is really good here. While we can't see everything in the bright light that makes everything look nice, the lighting at night here is still really nice to see. So to start, this is your apartment building. This is where you're going to spawn if you start at Orison. And then you've got down this way. Oh, I thought that guy had a gun out. Down this way, you've got a special tower. This is kind of like, you know, every city seems to have their central location. This is Orison's. It's the Crusader showroom. We're gonna go to the top first. Pretty cool location. It lets you see some of the internals of Crusader ships, little demonstrations and things. Just like Hurston, Crusader's a pretty big company in the human space, but they are definitely not as evil. They don't have as colored a history, but they are rich enough to own a planet. So here they are selling their wares. Got several of the ships you already know about. The Ares over here. The Hercules back here. Star Runner. The bomb that goes into the Hercules. And some guns. They don't make guns, but I guess they sell them. Because, you know, why not? And you can actually run pretty far here. There's like a lot of space up here. Okay, this is too far. I'm going back. A lot of space to run around up here if you want to. I don't know why you would, but it's there. From the apartment building, that central location we talked about, if you cross the bridge, you get over to the more functional side of the city. First off, over here, you've got a little, your trade department. Your hospital's down there. We don't need to go look at that. Hospitals are hospitals. I think they're pretty straightforward. But over on this side, you've got your trade and development center, just like with every other location. You coming in here, you're trading commodities, you're putting down the prices, you're making some money. Profit. Cousin Crow sells ships? Okay. Thought it was just components. Over here, you've got a little strip mall. It's like a shopping center. Which is it's very Orison. It makes sense for Crusader. It's tourist-oriented. It's designed to make you feel like you're in almost a cruise ship. Got some fancy clothes shopping, which really fits the vibe here. Aristotle. In design. Is that a design? I don't know. You got Kelto, which is the same one we had over at Microtech. Convenience shop where you can get some food, some weapons, and some goods. It's always so cool to have these floating cities in the backdrop too. Because you know you can go over there if you wanted. Upstairs, security. This could be something for bounty hunting later, who knows. Here is another place that, as you can see, they've got it kind of blocked off to be able to be used for something else in the future if need be. And some burgers over there. One of the bars in the location, you have to take an elevator to get to, actually. Which is not really like, it's not, again, a functional place, but it is, I guess it's cool to go to. A lot more people up here than there used to be. And it's actually pretty cool. You can just like sit out here and get a drink and watch ships fly into the spaceport over there. I hope at some point there are reasons to come up here to talk to NPCs and socialize a bit. It's a huge bar. It's almost to the extent of the Microtech one, but not quite. Makes sense for a tourist place, but maybe not as clubby as the other one. Still a nice area. It's definitely like the kind of place that I hope that we have excuses to come up here and hang out. Because the lighting, the vibe, the open top, the elevator entrance, all of it is pretty cool. From here, we can continue on to the city. They've got a nice sculpture over here of the storm wall, the space whales. A local animal. It's actually a pretty big part of the planet's overall lore, but not something we've been able to get in game yet. They actually have this little train station here where you're going to be able to get onto a ship that takes you to go see the whales, so you don't even have to fly out to see them yourself. Next up, we're taking the train over here to Providence. So this is an interesting spot because it kind of started out as not very useful, but ended up becoming super central to why Crusader is so nice. This is their sort of industrial location. So you come over here. This is a really cool outdoor location. One of my favorites in the game, actually. This is all just very much like site building, atmospheric, industrial. Look at this, man. Just a cool space. So you got Cousin Crows down there. We'll go down there in a minute. But over here, this is like an industrial area. And I wish and pray that someday we'll be able to just like stack boxes here for just a little bit of money. I think that'd be cool. They've got these little automated cargo movers that move back and forth down this path. You keep going back here and you can see there are some places where you could probably integrate some kind of engineering gameplay. You can head all the way down to the underdecks where there are actually escape pods. The city itself needs its own escape pods because, you know, if something goes wrong here, you don't really have much way out. But over here you go. We got Cousin Crows. Probably the best components and ship shop in the game. This is a big reason why people will come to Orison. And some people live by it, but at the same time, some people will be like, hey, you only have to go once. It doesn't make me change my whole starting location. So it depends on how important that is to you, but you got a lot of choices here. Probably AI blades whenever they show up. Yeah, there's some flight blades here. So these are actually not on the store anymore. But you can get flight blades for your ships that do have them so far. Escape pod. A little bit of lore. You might recognize these over here. We'll go over there in a second. Let me back in. Guess we'll load back in. So I was trying to show you guys the apartment here. And one of my favorite things is just the view you get. You basically wake up and look at a cloud city outside with spaceships flying around. It's pretty cool. And it's a nice apartment. Natural materials, fun, warm lighting. This was not part of the tour, but we got it because Orison doors like to lock you out. Let's continue. But you got some more of this kind of background area up here. Here is your drop-off and courier location. Here is your Covalix store, so you can get some good clothing, multi-tool kind of stuff, a little bit of armor. This is like the same kind of thing as the store that we saw in Microtech. It's actually a lot of clothes and I think stuff that you can get here that you can't get other places. Here is where I do believe we will have some engineering missions. They actually showcased an engineering mission here when they were first showing off radiation damage. And there is a staircase here that you can climb down that takes you to more controls. Okay. Well, that's okay. As you can see, Orison is not super concerned with safety. It's kind of a watch out for yourself for the vibe. I think I'm going to skip that platform from now on. We'll just continue on with our tour. So people keep asking about the racetrack. It's way out here. If you wanted to go to the go-karting center, you'd have to go to the Vision Center, which, as you can see, is basically off the map. Like, you got to go pretty far. You can also see that there's the Stormwall Discovery Tours off there, and there's supposed to be other things, just like with the other cities. There are locations that are added with the possibility of adding stuff later, but it's not quite there yet. If you ever do want to go there, the tourism platform here will take you there. But I don't think we're going to take that one today. We are running a little bit short on time, and I still have to go hit Checkmate. So let us go and check out Pyro. All right, now how quick is it to jump out to Seraphim Station? Y'all ready? Put me on the clock. Going now. That's a minute. That is actually about the same as Microtech. It used to be so much worse than that, guys. that was not bad. Okay, let's finish up our ratings for Crusader. Now, the shops and services are pretty good. They're about average, honestly. I kind of want to give them an 8 as well. I mean, you can buy ships at Crusader. I think that actually sets Microtech down a bit because it is really, that's really glaring that you can't buy any ships at Microtech. Crusader, I'm going to give a 7.5, I think. So the exit was around the same as Microtech. So we're going to give it a 6. Location's an interesting one. It's kind of far from stuff. It's got some proximity to the jump point, and it'll probably be more useful when the Magnus jump point is there, because this will be a good stop-off space to go out there. But it is still pretty far from the rest of, like, if you cut the system in half, you would have Microtech, Hurston, ArcCorp, the Terra jump point, and the Pyro jump point all on one side. And you have Crusader and the Magnus jump point on the other. So in terms of location, it is still kind of far. It's not as far out on the rim as Microtech, but it's not exactly a convenient space to be in. So I'm also going to give that a pretty low score of like a 6. Now, exit time and location aren't great, but the planet and moon features are phenomenal. You don't get a planet surface, which does really suck, but you do get one of the best moons in the game, which is Daymar. You also get Grimhex, which is a completely separate pirate-focused space station. So that's almost another landing zone entirely on its own. Obviously, you get the whole asteroid base from Yella, which is giving you a wildly different experience from the other planets. SPK and Covalix are good too. It's good to have some specialized space stations. I think in general, Crusader really benefits from having a lot of those kinds of points of interest. And you have the floating islands of Crusader. It's good for what it is, not having a planetary surface. I'm going to give it a 7. Yella really helps it out. Finally, the vibe. Crusader's vibe is good, but for me personally, it doesn't really hit. Like, I think they did a good job of designing it around what it's supposed to be, a touristy area that has a bunch of people flying through and taking vacations. But it's just not as interesting to me as somewhere like Hurston or even Microtech. So I'm going to give it probably an 8 on the vibe as well. And we're through. Welcome to Pyro, friends. Take you to the most central space station in the Pyro system. This is most of the places, if you want to make them your home location in Pyro, most of these places are going to be pretty similar to each other. Really, the point here is just to give you an idea of the general vibe of starting in a Pyro space station. As you can see, these space stations are quite a bit different from those in Stanton. It looks like right here, cargo elevators, exterior cargo elevators for the first time in the game. Here on the outside of the Pyro space station. So as you can see, it's a lot more beat up and decrepit than the other landing zones. Like if you are into vibes, you're gonna want to make sure you like a certain one if you pick this as your home location. Now you don't obviously have to stay here, but a lot of your stuff will get sent here, your ships will be here. Currently in the game, you're not going to get a handicap for using crappier services, but at some point you might. There might be quality to the level of services you can get, like health. There's plenty of world building potential in these locations, but they just don't quite get there. What you do have in these locations though is some contested zones, which are closed off areas. They're not instanced, but they are closed off with the armistice zone, and you can come back to these locations. You drop down into the zone and you can take part in FPS combat, in some exploration, some finding of loot. These are just, that's just a really nice benefit of Pyro that you won't get anywhere else, and some people do like that. If you're really into PvP, FPS combat, or PvPvE, we've got some armor shops, interesting armor choices, interesting armor displays. You've got some weapons and ammo shops here. They're all pretty centralized too, which is nice compared to somewhere like Microtech. You got food, you got more food, fairly gross looking foods. You have water, which is kind of hard to get. Ship weapons and components shop is here. Another weapon shop is over here, and this is actually supposed to have like a closed off reputation blocked area, which would be cool, but they don't have that in here yet. You got a bar. Everywhere needs a bar, right? A little bit more food up here, I think. Some food, some water, plenty of sustenance if you need it. And that's mostly it. There's some areas to explore outside and inside that make it a little bit more interesting, but these are pretty basic locations, these starting locations, compared to the Stanton ones. They get you everything you need functionality-wise, but oh dear. But they are not quite as built out with all the space. The space stations themselves are much bigger than Stanton space stations, but compared to the cities, I would say they're still not quite as big. The one thing that I would say is really, really useful here that you're not going to get anywhere else are these small grade delivery missions. Here we go. These are basically the courier missions we used to have before 4.0. They got dropped out of the game, but you can still get them here in Pyro. They've dropped them in to test them here, and a lot of people don't realize, but it's easy money. It's completely safe. You're in an armistice zone the whole time. You don't really have to do anything other than run out here and get this box that it's telling you to grab and take it and run it back to wherever they tell you to drop it off. If you haven't noticed, by the way, a lot of the facilities and stuff in these space stations are the same as the other ones, just broken down and destroyed. It's a nice touch. Just deliver this and objective complete. You get a little bit of payment. You get a little bit of you get to see the space station, I guess. You feel like you've accomplished something. And eventually, as you can see, there are like turrets and stuff around here and armed guards. These are supposed to be locations that you won't be able to come to if you have a certain reputation, so they say. and they should treat you differently if you do have a certain type of reputation. So stops and services honestly is not bad. They're all centralized. Ships and services has got to be a 6, dude. Exit time is a 10 because you're already in space, you're good to go. And then location is like a 5 for me because it's really just not ideal. Although if you like Pyro, for you, it might be. Planet and moon features, there is none, so that's 0. And the vibe, it does okay. Like I said, they do pretty well on the world building, but I don't think it really gets to the point where they're selling the space it's supposed to be. When you go throughout the hallways, you don't get the sense that they're struggling to heat it all up. They're struggling to use fires to heat it up because it is just not a well-supported place. The gangs aren't really holding their own territory. It just feels kind of like a broken down station from Stanton rather than a gang stronghold. So I'm gonna give it a 7 there. Yippee, yay, thanks. That was great. And that wraps up the tour of the current home location selections. When it comes down to it, this location becomes less important when you leave the planet and land at a new location, but it can still make a difference in your gameplay. And many of you watching this are probably looking at another option in the Nyx system, so do some of your own looking around. Don't stress out too much about this either, because you're going to be able to change this location a lot over the years. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed.